It's day 3 of 90 of being grateful for something every day. And today I'm going to be filming in landscape because it's going to be a little bit longer of a story of what I'm grateful for. So recently I went on vacation. We went to Oregon, and my parents and my brother also met up with us there on the Oregon coast. And so when we were driving up, actually, went to the bathroom, and I thought like something was kind of weird, but I kind of ignored it and then kept going. And then when the day that we arrived to Oregon, it was pretty late, so I went to sleep, and in the middle of the night I had to go to the bathroom. So I went pee, and then I knew like something was definitely wrong, because it was hurting kind of. And then like when I finished peeing, it was like the urge that I had to pee wasn't over. I was like, okay, well, clearly I have an UTI or something, and something is definitely wrong. And so in the middle of the night I had to like go on the Kaiser app and get an appointment. And first it was like, well, you're in Oregon, so you can't do anything about that. So then I was like, alright, whatever. Ultimately, I got a prescription for antibiotics for the UTI, and I had to look up like where the nearest facility was, and I had to. The nearest pharmacy was in the next town over, like 20 some minutes away, at a Safeway, which I guess they don't bill Kaiser for. So anyway, I got the antibiotics, and then I started taking them, and then as the week went on, everything started to get better, and I was enjoying vacation, going places, walking on the beach. Everything was fine. But my routine was kind of disrupted, and it was either like the letdown from the stress of work, or the lack of sleep, or my sleep schedule getting messed up because I was working nights, and I'm not going to be keeping my night schedule on vacation, right? That's kind of not normal. So either from that, or my meal times were kind of not at the regular times. So on the last night, we were supposed to check out the morning after. We went to eat at this seafood restaurant, and at the seafood restaurant, I started getting like really anxious. Like really anxious. And I was like, I don't know why I'm getting anxious. But I was getting anxious, and then, we ate our food, and we went home, and I was really tired and not feeling well. And then at that point, I knew, like, okay, something's wrong. I'm like getting a migraine, so I took my migraine medication and went to bed. And I think I did fall asleep. But in the middle of the night, I think Riley hopped on the bed and wanted to cuddle, and she took up a lot of the bed. And when I woke up, maybe my medication had worn off or something, but I was feeling really, really sick, really bad. And so I should clarify that my migraines, they're vestibular migraines, so I get really dizzy and nauseous, and I can't stand up straight because it makes me dizzy and nauseous. And so if I put myself in a certain body position, I feel a little bit better. But since Riley was trying to get comfortable on the bed, I could not go into the position that would be least uncomfortable. So that wasn't working, which was making me feel even sicker. So I ended up having, like, I had to puke. So I, like, waddled over to the toilet and threw up. And this was, like, in the middle of the night, and I thought about going back to the bed, but it was, like, so far. I mean, it wasn't far, but in my mind, it was so far because I had this migraine dizziness thing. So I ended up just sleeping on the bath mat in front of the sink, and just, like, on the ground for most of the night. And in the middle of the night, I got cold, so I grabbed, like, a towel, like a bath towel as a blanket, and so I slept on the ground all night. And then in the morning, we had to check out of the VRBO that we were staying at. So obviously I was in no condition to help pack, but in my mind I knew that my partner could pack, and my family could also help if needed to pack. So even though I was feeling really shitty, like, this was one of the what's the word I'm looking for? The worst, sir. One of the worst. I don't know how to say it. One of the more severe migraines I've had in a while. Internally I felt like at peace, right? Like, that everything was going to be fine. My partner could help, and she could still drive us, out of this place, and everything would be okay. And then while they were packing and everything, I threw up like 3 more times into the toilet. It was pretty bad. I usually don't throw up that many times, but I did. So even though I had a really bad migraine, I feel like mentally and emotionally it was not as bad as it could have been if I had had that severe of a migraine in a different situation or a different environment. And I don't know why. And I think part of it is because I didn't have work, so I didn't have to call out of work, because that always gives me a little bit of pressure and anxiety having to call out of work, because it feels like I'm inconveniencing people or letting people down, or I don't like calling out for work, but when I'm in a certain condition I can't do it. So, and then I think the other component was because I had people that I loved and trust around me, that I felt like, they could carry me through this. And so, usually when I have migraines, I'm panicking. I'm mentally what am I even doing in life? I'm a useless piece of shit. Blah blah blah. I'm what am I? Yeah, what am I even? What is my purpose? I'm here. I'm just a waste of space. Blah blah blah. But this time it was none of that. I was just trying to wait. I was suffering, but I wasn't adding to my own suffering, if that makes any sense. So I guess I'm grateful for having people around me that I love and trust, that I can feel okay mentally, even though physically I'm like really struggling and really, really dying. And I think that's what life is about, having those relationships. And which brings me to wonder, now that I'm back from a vacation, whether I've been focusing on the wrong thing. For the past year, I guess, I've been trying to, more than that, I've been trying to work on a business and build a business in order to try to create freedom for myself, right? To be able to have control over my schedule, to be able to spend time with my family, with my dogs, and that was the whole point of building a business, right? But now that I'm building the business, I'm wondering, I'm sacrificing my social life, right? I'm sacrificing all my extra time into this endeavor, and I'm wondering, is that really what I want to do? I feel like at the end of my life, am I going to be like, I wish, I worked harder on my business and sacrificed more for my business? I'm not sure anymore. Like, wouldn't I rather, at the end of my life, been grateful that, I was able to explore these parts of nature around me, and here in Orange County, I was able to see things that inspire a feeling of awe. That I'm grateful that I created or connected with people and nurtured meaningful relationships and had a good, support system, like when I had my migraine, to make me feel that even if things were bad, that things were going to be okay. And does the business give you any of that? I'm not sure. So, anybody out there who wanted to start a business and started a business in hopes of putting their 9-to-5 or W-2 or putting their employer, but then realizing that this business wasn't as fulfilling as you thought it would be, what did you do next? Did you keep going so that you could be financially okay with just the business? Or did you reverse? Did you reverse and, close down the business and just worked your 9-to-5 and in your free time actually spent your free time on things that you value, like, nature or relationships or stuff like that? I would love to know. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. It's day 3 of 90 of being grateful for something every day. Subscribe for more. Tomorrow is day 4. See you then.